Gotta say, it's a little sad coming outside not seeing the mountains everywhere, but we have a driveway full of Volkswagen, so I can't be too mad. We'll get the barn all opened up. We need to actually pull the wagon out of the way so we can take the R32, because today we're picking up some cool parts for that car. I gotta say, I am extremely proud of the wagon. This thing did so good. Didn't miss a beat. The only issue we had, well, not issue, but going uphill in the Swiss mountains, whew, this little 1.6, like I said, great on fuel mileage, but not a lot of power. And then also we had to stop and I had to put oil in one time because the car just burned oil a little bit. But other than that, this car didn't miss a beat, had the AC on. What a good daily. This thing is such a champ. I love the wagon so much. But now we're gonna hop in the good old R32 and get us some parts. So the parts we're gonna pick up right now, we're supposed to be delivered to our house, and for some reason they were delivered to a flower shop. So honestly, they might not, I don't know. The mail system here in Germany is very weird sometimes, where they won't leave stuff, or they'll just put stuff on the side of your house sometimes, or I don't know, it's weird. So fingers crossed the parts are there. I don't know.
I have proof of delivery that they're there.
Yeah, well,
send me that.
That's weird. Either way, it's like 2 minutes away still, but it's just where they dropped it off at some random flower shop and just not our house, but oh well. So the address we have is saying it's this house where the guy delivered to, so.
What?
All right, best of luck to you. I hope they have your parts.
Alright. I
don't see any boxes outside. All right, well, good luck. Hope they're there. Look at this kid with her big old box. I'm just glad they actually had it. That's awesome. What you got there? Oh my goodness. Look at this kid. Oh man.
Just literally.
What'd they say?
She's like, oh yeah, we get packages. It's literally just like a flower shop, and then she has this tiny little door, and she pulls this out of it. I'm like, what?
Send her on in here. We got some race car parts. Is it gonna fit? Side to side?
Yeah.
Ooh, look at that box. Nice. Let me see what you got.
Well, I got these, but.
Bam. So who'd you order these from? Some company you found in the UK?
It's called Awesome GTI.
We got front and rear. You have both, right? Front and rear sway bars for the R32. Do you know what size you went with?
21mm, 25.
So 21mm for front and 25 for the rear. It's gonna be nice. I'm pretty sure they're the same ones that Lee has on his Mark 5 R32. So very cool. Made in Germany by H&R. Super cool. We'll get them opened up here. All right, where did I put it this time? I always put it away. Oh, I might have lost it. Is it in the house? Might be in the house actually. You're right. Yes, the unboxing knife. There you go. Has to be used.
Right.
It has to be used. It's a tradition. Ooh, so fancy. Oh, nice. The color 16.
Does it not come with any of the hard, like the little bolt?
I'm sure there's somewhere. Those are hefty. Look at that. I'm not sure if this is front or this is R for rear. So this is your rear one, I believe. Actually, that looks thicker. That might be your rear one. Very nice though. I like the blue. H&R, made in Germany. So no hardware? It might just use your factory mounting spots in the hardware, so we'll see.
Ooh. Hey, are you jealous?
Very cool. Your H&R sticker? These are cool.
2 actually
Nice.
for them.
I'm not sure. I think was the thicker one for the front or the rear? Do you remember? I mean, this says R on it. Does this one say F on it somewhere? Where's the little stamp?
Right there.
Does it say F? No, this is made in Germany. Oh, here, F. Okay, so front, rear, so 25mm front, 21mm rear. We're probably gonna wait and use the hobby shop and use their lift to install these, because last time I did the bushings on my car for the sway bar, it's just a pain laying on the ground beneath the car. So we'll probably take the car to the hobby shop, lift it up on the lift, and then make this install much easier. Now I've seen bushings be installed on a Mark 4 before, but I've never actually seen a whole entire sway bar get done. So I'll have to watch a video, but it looks like there's a chance the subframe might need to be dropped partially, because we have to fit this through this side and around and through all of this stuff back here. and it looks kind of like a pain. So hopefully it's not gonna be that annoying, but I feel like some of the subframe or something has to get dropped a little bit just so there's more room to actually work, because it's pretty tight down there. So tomorrow I'm gonna go ahead and call the hobby shop. They're closed today since it is, what's today?
Family day for the 4th of July.
It's just family day for the 4th of July, which happened on Saturday. So the hobby shop is closed today. I'm gonna call tomorrow morning, see if we can't get an appointment because there's still all the coronavirus stuff going on. So we can possibly get these installed tomorrow. All right, we are back. It's currently Tuesday. The weather is absolutely perfect. I have the sway bars loaded up right back there, and today they're getting installed. All right, we are here. I'm hoping to get the front and the rear both done today. We're starting a little bit late today at work. It's 4:30 and now they close at 7, so not as much time as I would like, but hopefully still enough time to get both done. The front requires a bit more work, dropping the subframe down a little bit, and I'm doing one of the control arms, and I think you can wiggle it out enough to swap it over, and then the rear is just undo one section of exhaust and then drop that down. So hopefully in this next 2.5 hours we can get this done and knocked out fairly quickly. Look who decided to show up. About time.
I was buying you sweet tea.
Thanks, love ya. Ask him for bay number 2 if we can. Okay. That's a low one. Rolling in with the Corrado. Get in there. We got race car parts to do. All right, so looking under the car. So for the front sway bar, which is right here, we need to undo the ends right here. It's, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's one big one up there. We need a brace to hold the center section, and same on this side. And they did one of the control arms here and dropped it down, and that was enough to actually wiggle this whole thing out of here. Also this center mount, so it's kind of a pain. And I think these bolts here. But we have to get this whole subframe here dropped down to about here, give or take, and then one side off, and then wiggle it out for the new one. All right, so we have the subframe here supported with this. Oh goodness. It's 5 o'clock, by the way, if you can't tell by the loud sound. As I was saying, so this is now supporting the subframe here. I believe it's only gonna be this one and this large one here, and then same for the other side. I don't think, these just go straight through, and these ones also just go straight through. So undo the end links over here, and then these 4, and it should drop down. Also the mount, and the mount. All right, so this one here is off. As you can see, we've done this bolt, and same on this side. 1 and 2, obviously this is supporting. I'm just making sure, I can't tell if these 2 here that go to the rack need to come out or not, but we'll see in just a second. She's pulling off this one, and then I'll let this go down just a little bit and see how much room we have, if we have to pull off more bolts or not. And then we'll go ahead and get one side off and get it out of there. So you can see the subframe is actually separated from the body of the car, and the whole thing comes down. I just undid this 13 right here that holds the bushing of my finger on the subframe, and you just push up right here and push the whole bracket out of the way. I didn't undo these 2 bolts yet that go to the power steering rack just yet. I want to see if I can't wiggle it out like this. Actually, probably not. Oh, maybe. We'll see. I did have a bigger gap here, but if I need to drop these down, I will as well. So as you can see, our stock one here is out. I'll set it down next to that one. So I think stock, I think it's 20 millimeters. What's this one you said?
25.
So stock is 20, this is our 25. We actually have 2 mounting points, sorry, on this one for a more aggressive or a little bit less. Which one you said was which?
This is more like stiff and aggressive. This is softer. Okay,
so either way, it's still stiffer than factory, but if you want like super aggressive, use the back hole, and a little bit less aggressive is the front hole. And it came with new bushings. We'll use our factory mounts to hold it down, and it should be all good to go. It was a bit of a pain to actually get this out of here. So we actually had to undo these 2 bolts here, which hold on the rack to the subframe. And then once that, everything's pretty much loose, ready to go. And now it's out. Ready?
Yeah.
So how we got this out, we kind of went from this side, which is the passenger side, your driver's side, kind of up and over and wiggle this curve here through this section, and the rest can go right up and over this and slide right on it. Sway bar is now in. The way you might get this in is probably different than us, but we got it. So I did the same thing. I wrapped this corner piece over this hump first, and then swung the whole thing in, and we hit here a little bit, so we had to pull this down a little bit and then get this notch piece to go around here, and now it is all up and in. Also, this one came with 2 sets of bushings, one smooth top and then one like this that has a little rivet. So we use those ones because they have the same ones as the factory. So these will go on now since we have some room to work. We'll put the bracket and the bushing in and then lift the whole thing back up, bolt it in, do our end links here, and they're just about done with the. All right, so we decided to pull the entire subframe off the car because these polyurethane bushings are so hard to clamp down. I had nothing to actually grip, so I figured it'd be easier to get out of the car and do it this way. So once these two are in, the front's done, all back together, and we'll probably do the rear tomorrow since we are out of time, or sometime this week. Yeah, these polyurethane bushings are beast. So I was able to use the vice grip here and put one piece in here and pinch the bracket closed. So one down, one more to go, and then back in the car she goes. All right, so unfortunately we'll finish this today. Everything's back in the car for the most part. There's one little like stud on the bottom side of the rack that goes into the subframe. I cannot get it to fit because this is a larger bar now. I can't get that corner piece to fit under this bar to actually thread it in. So we're gonna leave the car here overnight. We'll come back, or I'll come back tomorrow morning, or she'll come back with me later in the day, and we'll finish up the front and probably the rear as well. But yeah, bit of a pain. I mean, this wasn't too bad to get in, but I can't get, you can see back in there, a little stud piece at the bottom. I can't get that to drop into the subframe, and I can't get that underneath of here because it's thicker. So we'll come back tomorrow and try again. It is definitely time for some sweet tea. Oh yeah. So overall, it's going pretty smoothly. We didn't start until a bit after 5 o'clock, so for about an hour and 30-ish minutes. It wasn't too bad. We actually could have had it done faster. We should have just dropped the entire subframe from the beginning and got out of the way because we were trying to like work it through there as a pain. So drop the whole subframe out of the way, do the bolts, and it's so much faster that way. So tomorrow I'll come back. I'll have to figure out how to get that bracket for the mount on our steering rack to go under the new sway bar. Once that's in, the whole front's done, ready to go, and then we'll do the rear, and then the car can just drive and be good. All right, good morning. As you can see, we are back at the hobby shop. Day number 2 of our sway bar install, which today should go much smoother. Yesterday before we left, I actually went ahead and dropped the whole subframe, you can see right there, off the car. The issue I was having, no, I'll have to grab it. Well, you can't see it now because the rack's still on the car, but let's go over here for a second. So on the rack, you can see right here, this little nub piece, I couldn't get to sit back into the subframe, and this piece right here wouldn't fit under the thicker bar. So either that pops out of there, or I don't know, we'll figure it out, but that was what was holding us up yesterday. So once that's in, everything goes bolt back up and we're good to go. And then the front stuff, we can start on the rear. All right, so looking at this more, this doesn't quite come out of here. And if I do break it free, then it's just gonna spin and that's not gonna be good. So I think we're gonna try and do this side first. Last time we did this section first and I couldn't get this side around. So I'm gonna try this side first and try and go like up and over, like wiggle it down hopefully. And then once this is on, we're good to go. It's just this, I guess it's just to hold the rack in place and not let it move, but I don't know, it's kind of weird. All right, so unfortunately it looks like there's no way to fit that rack piece in there under the sway bar. So what we're gonna have to do is take this mount for the bushing of the sway bar off, slide that in first, and then fight with this bracket to close it down, which would be more of a pain when it's in the car like this, but that way over there, there's just not enough room. So we'll pull this bracket off, move the sway bar up, drop that in, bolt it up, and then we'll go for this section over here. All right, so good news. As you can see, these two bolts are loosely in, and you can see that the rack right there is actually under this, which is good. So now we have to get the bracket here, pinch back down. The nice thing is though, since we already did it out of the car, it squished this bushing down, so it's not like brand new anymore. So it's gonna move a little bit easier. I have a pry bar here to hopefully get in and pry this closed, bolt it up, and then the front should be done. So while I'm finishing up the front of the car, Casey's gonna start in the rear. For the rear sway bar, which is way up here, they're rusty as well. So it goes here above the heat shield and to this side. So we're gonna go ahead and do this clamp, and this right here, drop the exhaust off, drop the heat shield, and then we can go ahead and access the sway bar. All right, so now we have the heat shield above the exhaust off of the car. You can see the rest of the sway bar here. Yo, these bushings are blown out, like destroyed. We're also replacing this entire rear 4Motion subframe because it's a lot of surface rust. It's not like the metal's not like pitted super bad, but there's a lot of surface rust. So more than likely we'll go through and replace this entire rear subframe. This still looks fine. But this is replaced today. We'll replace all this stuff through here. This. We'll get new like poly bushings for the 4Motion in the back. Whew. But these things are toasted. Look how bad that is. Like, it's just like falling apart in my hand. That's crazy. So we're going from that to some nice fancy, some nice new ones today. So looking at this, these bolts here are probably gonna be a pain. So I'm gonna soak them WD-40 real fast, and hopefully they're not, they don't go breaking on us. But there's also this little hose here that's like zip tied up. I'm not sure where that goes to. There's also like a ground that goes over this. Oh, it's to nothing. Oh, it just fell apart.
What is that?
I don't know. It was a ground. It was a ground to nothing. Oh, it comes off the rear here. So it was a ground to the frame of the car, but it really wasn't a thing because it just fell apart in my hand.
Alright.
But I don't know what this went to. Some sort of like.
What is that green?
So I don't know what this is. I have no idea.
It's a smoke machine.
I don't know. Some sort of valve or I don't know. So it took quite a while, but I finally was able to get the top bolt there back in. I hate this design. It's the same design as the Mark III, but we got it. So this one is on. This one is on loosely. We have it on the closest hole, so the closer to the bar, the tighter it is. We always adjust it later on, but it's too stiff. But we're gonna start with that. Now I'm gonna go through and get the large subframe bolts back in, make sure all these are tightened down, these two mounts, and then the front is completely done. All right, so as I'm doing the front, Miss Lady back here doing the rear section. This section's all off the end link. This bolt came out. What's happening over there? Throwing stuff. So there's two bolts. Yeah, there's two bolts left. Everything else is off. It's just these two. I just can't believe how trashed these bushings are. Your car's gonna feel a million times better. So we've been using the little the brush here and trying to scrape all this off. So hopefully those come off. Once that bracket's off, this is out, and the new one can go in. And the rear one is also adjustable with two mounting points. So almost there. Work them arms. Let's go. Work them arms. Yeah. Are they burning yet?
No. Maybe.
Almost there. All right. So the rear sway bar is now out. This crusty thing. What size is this you said?
This is 15 millimeter and this one's 21.
So we're going from a 15 mil to a 21. So I mean, you had blown out bushings. These things are trash. Like they're so bad. So to go from 15 to 21 and have new bushings, your car's gonna feel amazing. You said the. Oh my. Figure it out. So I'm sorry. It's not like my guy. I don't know who told you. That messed up.
It works for any bolt.
That sounds good. Bam. The rear sway bar is in. So much easier. Like the front like this. Bolt, clamps down. It's so much easier than the stupid front design. But the bar is in. Fancy new polyurethane bushings. We are on again the stiffest setting. So it might be a little bit too stiff, but we always go back and adjust it if need be. But we're gonna start out with the full beans. So once these are all tightened up real fast and the front's tightened up, exhaust back on, wheels back on, and we can go for a drive. All right, so this is the cable here. This is a ground strap cable that goes in the rear holodeck. This one that actually broke in our car, like rusted straight through. So she's gonna go home and pull the one. There should be one on my V5 because also 4Motion, and we're gonna swap that out because, I mean, if people say that you can run it without this, but we're gonna put it on just to be safe. So you take that, drive the wagon nicely. I'll see a little bit. So while she's going and doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and put majority of this back together. And when she gets back, new ground strap on, and we're done. So if you look up here, right there is where the end piece broke off, and it actually goes to right there. So just a little ground strap from the rear diff here to the actual body of the car to ground it out, but this one just rusted straight through, so we'll get it swapped out. So at this point, the car is fully back together. I've gone through and bolt checked all the way from the front, every side, all the way down. Exhaust hangers, everything to the back, everything is nice and tight and snugged up. So we should be good to go. The only thing we don't have right now, so that ground strap that goes off the rear holodeck here to the frame of the car, The one on my V5 full motion car didn't have one at all. So like I said, people said you can run without it. We were just trying to get one. We're gonna order one and swap it on later on, but we're gonna go ahead and lower the car down, start it up, make sure all the wheels still spin, everything's still good to go. And then we'll go test out and see how these new fancy sway bars feel, and if all that fun work was worth it, which it should be, but we'll see. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, so like I said, we're missing that ground strap on the back now, but it's still functioning, so. Yeah, they're all spinning. Let me make sure this side, hang on. Yeah, you're good. We're gonna replace that ground strap, but just for now, the car is still drivable, so that's good. All right, so we are heading home now to drop off the wagon real quick and hop in the R32, hit a couple of back roads real fast and to see what kind of difference we can feel with the new sway bars. All right, so how was the daily drive home?
It's fine.
Does it feel like, you feel any difference?
Yeah, you can feel it. When
Yeah.
you go around the turns and stuff. Yeah.
Nice. The car looked, I mean, you were very fast. The car looked pretty flat in the mirrors. So does it feel like stiff and like bumpier?
Yeah. Well, not maybe not bumpier, but definitely around the turns it was much stiffer. Like it was planted. Like my cup usually does this whenever I turn really hard.
Yeah.
But it was chilling.
Nice.
Yeah. So I won't spill it in my blinker.
We can go left and up around that little back section, and then we'll see how she feels. There.
Right.
Yeah, left here.
Right. You mean?
Right. Yeah. There. Oh wow. It's hard to like show on camera, obviously.
And then up here.
But I've straight. But I've been in this car so many times as a passenger, and just like those little turns, the car feels like, yeah, it feels way more planted as she turns back and forth. So up around about and go
Right.
left.
I'm gonna hit this roundabout go pretty fast.
Yeah, it definitely feels a lot more planted. And honestly, it doesn't feel too aggressive. Even though we put the front and the rear both on the stiffest setting, it actually feels nice. Feels very good. And I gotta say, those your rear bushings were destroyed.
Oh yeah, they were.
So it's almost like you didn't have those sway bars on the back at all because the bushings were like gone. So nice. It's good. So if you're thinking about sway bars for R32, I recommend. I wish we would have took a video of the car from like the front angle and filmed it in slow motion before the sway bars and do like a hard turn, and then done it afterwards. So I didn't think about it until just now. But just know the car feels way more planted. So definitely a nice upgrade and well worth it. Wow. Yeah, that feels really, really good. You can kind of feel the car like, I don't know, almost like this, like stick into the road, and you just like push to the turn real nicely. It just flies through corners. Once we have some sticky tires as well, this is going to be a champ. I mean, it's already a great handling car. We're just making it that much better.
Yeah, that's nice.
There you go, boys and girls. Mark IV R32 sway bar install front and rear, and those things feel really, really good. Like a huge noticeable difference of how flat the car stays through the turns. I quite like them. I want to set for my car very, very soon. Overall, the install was pretty straightforward. It took us about 6 hours total. We ran out of time yesterday and finished it up today. Knowing what we know now, I would have just dropped the front subframe out of the way and made the front way, way faster instead of trying to wiggle it out of there. And then the rear is pretty much straightforward and easy to go. We had a few rusty bolts here and there. I had to get a few spare bolts off the V5 to use in this car, but overall, Not too bad of an install, well worth it. I think the car feels great. Up next will be some sticky tires, and this thing's gonna be an absolute beast. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Do not forget to be thankful for today. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.